Sure. They're all Sure. Sure. So my name is Margaret Bui. I have been working in the talent space for close to 2 decades, mostly as a recruiter. I've recruited for tech companies of different sizes, both startups, Series A, B, C, and D, and actually even pre-Series A, and also some larger tech companies such as Expedia or Microsoft. I've recruited very internationally across all different functions. So I've recruited very extensively in Europe, also in the States, in Canada, in Latin America, and across really all different functions, engineering, product, marketing, sales, finance, HR, you name it, I've probably done it. And apart from that, I do interview and career coaching, and I've also done interview training for managers in various organizations. So I'll be happy to help with anything related to hiring and training and interviewing. And in terms of the do's and don'ts for startups, so let me mention quite a few. So, one, I would say be very clear about roles and responsibilities. On one hand, startups thrive on flexibility, but on the other hand, lack of clarity leads to frustrations and wasted time. So, so what can you do? Write job descriptions that maybe include short-term, like the first 90 days, and long-term expectations. Share what success looks like. For example, by month 3, you would have launched X feature or closed Y number of partnerships. Be also upfront about ambiguity. Acknowledge the need for versatility, but also like define the core focus areas clearly. So, for example, instead of saying we need a marketer, you can maybe say we need someone who can lead customer acquisition, manage paid campaigns, and build partnerships with education platforms. So be specific. You also want to make sure that you hire for cultural fit and growth potential, because early hires, from my experience, they really like set the cultural DNA of your startup, so it's very important that you hire people who believe in your mission, and they can also grow with you as your company evolves. So even just ask behavioral questions like, tell me about the time when you had to figure things out without much support, because let's be honest, they might not get as much support as they would get in a large organization. So don't just look for a shiny CV. Like, you want to look for grit, adaptability, someone who's resourceful. So like, for example, a developer who learned new tech stacks independently and delivered a side project, they show more startup readiness than someone who only thrived with structured corporate processes. And yeah, maybe the last one I would mention, I have quite a few more, but maybe the last one I would mention in terms of those would be to streamline the hiring process. Great candidates, they will not wait for a clunky, 1 month hiring process, like, Google, right? So people will not wait that long. So design maybe like a 2 or 3 stage process, initial call, maybe like, 2 or 3 interviews on the same day, perhaps, and some practical assessment. Schedule interviews quickly and provide feedback fast, ideally within 2 to 3 days maximum. And make it like easy, like use simple tech tools. Like, you might not have applicant tracking system yet, but you can use Calendly for scheduling, or Trello or Airtable for tracking candidates, Google Meet for interviews. So, and also, like, instead of multiple long interviews, you might do a 30-minute founder chat, maybe like a 1-hour skills interview and a final team alignment call, and you can do all of that within a week. And in terms of the don'ts for a startup, so let me just mention a couple. So don't compromise on core values, because a bad cultural hire, it's honestly 10 times worse than a missing hire. So define your core values early, like, whether it's ownership or curiosity or integrity, and interview for them explicitly, and if you have a candidate that raises doubts, or their attitude or collaboration, or you just think something is missing, honestly, trust your gut and slow down, because like, if your cultural values transparency, for example, and a candidate evades tough questions, that's actually a red flag, even if the technical skills are top notch. And also, I think what's very important in a startup is that you don't overpromise, because building trust starts at the first conversation. So be honest about the risks, the funding stage, the runway, work-life balance, and uncertainty, and also set realistic expectations about career trajectory. So yes, there's upside, but there are no guarantees, right? Like, where do you have guarantees? So instead of saying, well, you'll be VP of engineering next year, it's better to be honest and say, if we hit Series A growth milestones, there will be opportunities for leadership roles. So, and maybe just one final don't prioritize speed over quality. So hiring the wrong person is honestly much more damaging than not having anyone at all. So just make sure that you have like a pretty structured interview process. That doesn't have to be a long process. Just make sure that you have, skills assessment, cultural fit, and values alignment. That could be done in 2 to 3 interviews. And also use contractors or some fractional help temporarily if you feel the pressure to fill the position. Just basically like early team members, they really become those cultural carriers and leaders. So if you are debating between 2 candidates and neither feels quite right, it's honestly better to keep searching than settle. Like I've already made that mistake I've seen managers make that mistake. And then it never works. So it's better to keep searching rather than actually settle. That doesn't mean that you need to have like completely unrealistic expectations, but if the candidate is not right, it's just not right. So I know it's quite long, but hopefully it was helpful.
That is absolute gold. Thank you very much for that, Margaret. Right here, we've got some questions, quite a few that are coming in, or have come in rather, shall I say, in messages. Was hoping and looking forward to some live questions instead, but nevertheless, just a quick reminder for those of you that have joined the live streams, this is our 153rd Startup Talent Q&A. We're here to help founders with whatever questions and startups with whatever questions you have on your talent journey, whether you want to know how and where to find the right people, how to keep them, how to train them, how to empower them. This is the place to be. There are no wrong questions and there's no need to be shy. It's a learning curve for us all. We are, however, only going to be here for the next, 41 minutes. Therefore, if you do have any questions, please don't leave it for last second. If you're tuning in via the live streams, whether that's LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, please be aware that unfortunately we're unable to monitor your questions there. So you would have to join us here live on Microsoft Teams. It's audio only, and the best way to do that is to go to our website, Startup to Scale Up Club. Find today's session, which is Startup Talent Q&A 153. Click join. It's a quick registration. That gets you into our call here. You get a link to your email, and you can then join our call. When you do that, then you can type your question in the chat, as I have, and Margaret can have a look at the question that was sent in. And once you type that down, I'll then give you the mic to ask the panel. So please feel free to do that. On the other hand, just a quick reminder, if your questions today are not on talent, please save them for the other events we run. Mondays, as you can see, obviously is talent, but then Tuesdays it's product and tech, Wednesdays growth, Thursdays fundraising, second Friday of the month it's product and tech. Sorry, second Friday of the month, my bad. It's UK Startup Law, and third Friday of the month, it's UK Startup Finances. They're all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time, and you can RSVP to any of them via our site, startuptoscaleup.club. Actually, when you join our site there, what you might want to do, or when you go to our site, you might want to join our WhatsApp community. It's groups of founders, investors, operators that you can join, and at the top and bottom of the website there's a WhatsApp icon that you can join, and we'll take it from there. Now, without further ado, we'll quickly go to a question that was sent in, and then we'll go on to Charlotte, who's put in a question. Charlotte, I will unmute you so you can ask the question right after we've answered this one that was sent to us, if that's okay. So I'll just allow your mic for now. And Margaret, I'm going to read this out loud. Obviously, you can read it here, but I'll read it out loud for those that are doing this via the live stream. I'm the co-founder of a pre-seed health tech startup in Glasgow, where we design wearable devices for health monitoring. As we start to hire, how can we ensure that our job ads are clear and attract the right talent for technical roles, such as engineers and product designers, whilst effectively communicating our mission and values as a health tech company? That's quite a detailed one. Take it away, Margaret.
Well, that's a great question, and I do hire for product and engineering roles, so more than happy to answer that. So for a pre-seed health tech startup like yours, crafting that effective job description is all about balancing technical clarity with mission-driven storytelling. So early stage candidates, especially engineers and product designers, they want to know both what they're building and also why it matters. So I would start by being really clear about the role, like outline clear responsibilities, what the tools or tech stack that you use, and also what early success looks like in the role. So for example, within 3 months, help prototype a new wearable health sensor module, as an example. And also use straightforward, action-oriented language to avoid confusion. And at the same time, I would weave your mission into the job description. So don't just list technical tasks. Explain how the role connects to your larger goals of advancing health monitoring and improving patient outcomes. So early stage talent, well, not just early stage talent, but I think early stage talent in particular, they often drawn to startups where the work has a real world impact, so highlight the bigger picture, like how your devices will make healthcare more accessible, proactive, or personalized. And also make sure that your values come through authentically. So for example, if innovation, user empathy, or data ethics, as an example, are central to your company, say so. You can even add a short section like what we value near the bottom of the ad. So that helps attract candidates who are not just technically skilled, but they also culturally aligned with your health first mission. And also be human in your tone. So like many early employees choose startups because they feel personal connection to the story and the team, and not just the role. So like a friendly, inspiring voice will stand out more than corporate style postings. Especially in a competitive, like technical hiring market. So have a look. I recruit for a company called Mixmax. If you go to mixmax.com and look at the careers, we have a couple of positions open. Well, mind you, actually not for product right now, but have a look, because I think we have, I think the job descriptions we have, they're pretty good. So maybe just kind of use like a similar format. Like, like for example, if you have a technical position, you will have like what you will build, right? So explain like what it'll be like. Maybe you will have something like you will help design, prototype, and scale wearable health monitoring services, devices that gather real-time data, and working closely with our funding team, you'll have ownership over ABC, right? Mention the tech we use, mention the early milestones, like what they will need to deliver within 3 months, what they would like to deliver within 6 months. Candidates actually really like that. I had so many, just in general, like good feedback from candidates on like, that they like the fact that we were clear on what this person would need to do, or you can also have like, why this matters, right? So maybe have like, just basically a little bit like why you're doing what you're doing. You can also have some kind of how we work, and then you can mention, different values, or like who thrives here. You can have an option like that. So yeah, basically, like, I think you want to have clarity about the role and expectations. You want to have real connection to the mission and impact, and you want to have tone that actually matches your startup culture. And even though I said, you need like a personalized tone, I would totally use AI to help you with that. Like, I think Claude is actually quite good for writing. So yeah, maybe like use your current job descriptions, put it in Claude, say, this is our mission, this is the people we're trying to attract, like help me structure that in a very compelling way, and then edit what Claude comes up with. But I find Claude is actually really good for writing. So you just need to give you good prompts. Any questions? Hello?
In my fat thumbs. I'm really sorry about that.
Okay, I was like, wow, okay, but you heard me, right? Okay.
I kept pressing it and nothing happened. Okay, so Charlotte that joined us, for some reason we've lost her, but she's put a question here. So she says, I'm the founder of a medical education hub. Any suggestions on finding a good web designer? Oh, Charlotte, why did we lose you? Okay, there are so many answers to this because it depends on her situation.
Yeah.
It could be anything from, what can she pay? What does she need them to do?
Yeah. I can give some general tips, but I agree that too many nuances here. Yeah.
But if we can, until hopefully she'll come back, and until she does that, if we can try and focus on some different scenarios. So maybe let's discuss a few scenarios first. So number one, it's that Charlotte, which happens with most people, hasn't got money. and she wants to find a designer, right? And she can't pay them, and she probably hasn't raised any investment for that either. If that is the case, am I allowed to use the word screwed here or not? Anyway, I'll leave that. If that is the case, you are in quite a bit of trouble. And when I say trouble, I mean it's not easy to get somebody to come and work for you for free. There are, as we speak, there's about 150 million startups in the world market. And the unfortunate view and situation and reality is that over 90% of those will not exist this time next year. It's as simple as that. So, what do you do when you've got no money? And you can't find somebody? You are left with one thing and one thing only, in my view, and that is to find somebody to do it for equity.
Some other ideas too, but not
exactly. And you've got to really work hard to convince somebody to do that. If that is the case, then it's about giving them a share, and the best way to go about it would be to say, right, here's I don't know, let's say 20%, but that person needs to give you some insurance, and the best way you can do that is something called Cliff Invest or Invest in Cliff, depending who uses it. What that means is people that join you will have to work with you for at least a year and hit certain targets that you both agree. And then after that first year, they are eligible, or they merit 25% of your agreed share. Then in the second year, it's another 25, and so on. So they end up working with you for 4 years, and that's when they take the entirety of the agreed share that was set at the beginning. That way, you don't have somebody that comes in and works for you for 2 weeks and is left with that share. You can also work with perhaps some universities to do that as coursework, and I know of cases that has been done. Or if you have some money, then I'm sure Margaret has got some brilliant answers. I'll pass that to you now, Margaret. Whatever scenarios you think where she has some money.
Let's actually start with considering she has like a very little budget. I mean, when you have no money, I kind of think forget about it. Just raise the money first, and then find a designer, because no one will kind of work for free. But one smart path is to use like a template-based website builder, like Webflow, Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, because these platforms, they have professional mobile-friendly templates, and you can customize them yourself with a bit of learning, or you can hire a freelance web designers for just like a few hours to polish and personalize the template. That's actually how I started my interview coaching website. Would you believe it? I think it was actually, I can't remember if it was Wix or not. It was so many years ago, but 19 years ago. But yeah, my first website was from templates, because I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I was just kind of like testing the waters, and I used one of these like website templates, and actually it was very easy to use, and I'm not very technical, so I've used it myself. And it was actually, it wasn't perfect, no, but once I made some money, then I created a better website once I knew what I was doing, like with everything, right? So I think having those template-based website builders that can really reduce cost compared to a fully custom website. You can potentially look for junior designers or like recent grads or freelancers who are building their portfolios. You might, if you're very lucky, you might find someone incredibly talented who's willing to work at a lower rate in exchange for experience and a case study, especially if you offer a strong testimonials later. So I would maybe look at university job boards for that. There is a website called Behance for designers, Behance, and try maybe there, because maybe, I don't know if there's a function there, but I would maybe look for someone there. And if like really necessary, just really start small, like launch a one-page website that covers the basics, like your mission, offerings, contact form, and then you can expand later once you have funding or traction in general, because I think clarity and credibility matters more than fancy design at this early stage. I definitely wouldn't start with an early design, but if I also think you need to be very clear on like what are your needs, right? Whether it's like a very inexpensive person or more expensive person? Like, are you looking mostly for like a beautiful marketing site and content driven platform, or are you actually looking for someone more like interactive and functional? Like, do you want to have course sign-ups, certifications, resource libraries? Because there's plenty of people who can create a new website, but do they actually understand anything about internet marketing? Like, that you need the functionality, maybe get like, for a lead generation magnets on your website. That's actually be very important to understand that. And once you know what you want, then you can look for designers who have experience in maybe like education or healthcare, professional services. I probably wouldn't look at like Fiverr. I mean, you can find someone good there, but the quality could be very inconsistent. And I think if you post an ad, you can get like hundreds literally of applications, and it's gonna take you days, to sort through. So I would, like, if you use a platform like Fiverr or Upwork, they actually could be quite good. I would do actually Upwork I think is better than Fiverr. Basically, like, just find people using the right keywords who have experience in your space, and always ask to see the live websites they build, not just mockups. And make sure that you pick someone who understands UX, user experience, for education platforms, because your audience needs easy navigation, fast loading, mobile accessibility, clear content. And ideally, obviously, you want to find someone who can both design and build on platforms like Webflow or WordPress, so you can update the site easy, as you know. But so yeah, in general, like, when you speak to these designers, whoever you're talking to, ask them if they have examples they've designed for education, healthcare, or professional services. I would also maybe ask them like how they approach user experience for audiences who need to learn or access information quickly. Do they actually handle both design and development, or do they work with a developer? Because that's also something I didn't realize. Like, some designers, they can only create visual designs. Others actually build fully functioning websites. So you kind of want to know what you're buying. So find out, do they handle both design and development? I would also want to find out, like, what platforms do you usually build on? So I use WordPress. There's other ones that could be custom code, but in general, like, you want a platform that's easy for you to manage without always needing a developer. Like, I can make most of my updates myself. Not everything, as I said, I'm not very technical, but I can make some little updates myself on my WordPress. It's easy to use. And of course, you want to find out that the website is mobile friendly and accessible, and like typical project timeline and process. And how will you handle content updates after the launch? Will you be able to make small edits myself? And also, like, maybe just also find out how they like price projects. Is it fixed fee? Is it hourly? Is it by scope? So in general, like, you want to have clarity on total cost, and are the revisions included? Are the SEO basics included? Security setup, speed optimization. That really should be part of the package. So yeah, and I think good designers will appreciate those structured questions.
That is some amazing stuff. And just to pick on the Fiverr and Upwork, Margaret. Upwork, I found that to be much more expensive. And
yeah, but I think it's better. Yeah, I agree.
I think so. For certain things, it is.
Yeah.
And the thing with Upwork is you have to publish your work and then wait to see what happens. With Fiverr, I've had much more success of looking for people rather than publishing the project. And even the website for our startup club, mind you, me being the OCD person that I can be at times, I ended up messaging about 500 or 600 people, and then simply asking a set of questions like you mentioned yourself, and that weeded out a lot of people, because despite the language barriers, if I got messages saying, oh, yes, we can do this for you or whatever, but it didn't answer the questions I asked, I just completely ignored them. Because to me, it was a sign that either they'll try and say anything just to get the job, or two, they had no idea what I was talking about. So I then only focused, and I think in the end, I ended up exchanging messages with about 40 or 50 of them.
Oh, wow, that's a lot, though. It's a lot.
Exactly. And then speaking to maybe about, I don't know, 10, 12, 13, I can't remember now. And the one I found was an absolute gem, where for only a few £100, designed and made and built a fantastic website.
Yeah.
My failure there was perhaps I should have focused more, and this was done on WordPress, so I should have focused more during that, what they call grace period, for them to teach me certain things. But because I was so busy with a lot of other stuff, there were a few things that we didn't manage to do properly. And when I went back, he wanted more money, and I just didn't have the time, nor did I think it was right to spend more money. So,
Yeah.
I still have some kind of reluctances, but it really worked well. And now I actually end up um, recommending him to people I
Yeah.
know because
Great. Yeah. That's great.
he did such an amazing job. And I swear I just kept, even whilst working with him, I kept thinking, if this would be the other way around, I would tell him where to go, because if I had clients as nuts as I am, I would not want to work with them. But he stuck with it, and he did an absolutely brilliant job. So if Charlotte is looking for somebody to just build a website, so it's more like an information portal rather than something that is live and needs to change all the time, then I would definitely look at some of those platforms, but especially things like Fiverr. And one of the things I found, Margaret, is even on Fiverr, that is meant to be the cheapest,
Yeah.
I came across what was it? Some quotes were really crazy. I think the highest was something like £17,000 for what I
Wow.
was
That's
looking for.
insane. That's
Exactly.
insane. That's actually insane. But you know
Uh,
what? That's always gonna be the case. You always. That's why I think that's why it's good to just like speak to people. But I personally prefer instead of advertising the role because I've made that mistake once. Anyway, it just
exactly.
took forever. I got so many applications, took forever. And I actually
Exactly.
think I prefer right now to go through profiles of
And
people, look at the reviews, and then I will contact maybe 5, 6 people and ask them if they will be willing to.
absolutely. And a
Yeah.
good thing to do is, especially with Fiverr, because I ended up not really dealing much with Upwork because I got all sorts of weird people. But with Fiverr, that I searched for them myself, is there is a lot of good reviews out there. And the way it works is that it's very hard for them to get fake reviews, because it Fiverr one has an escrow, meaning that if this person is trying to scam you, and that's why you should not do it in a way so that you say, just to say, because some people may do this, and I had a few that tried to do that, just to save $100 or whatever it may be. They say, look, if you want, we can do this privately. And I've had people do that, but the thing is, if something happens, there's nothing you can do about it, right?
Yeah.
So if you do this via the escrow that Fiverr has, that can be quite useful. And two, those reviews, most of them are or tend to be on people that have actually done business and paid. And you can see that clearly on Fiverr. Now, I mean, I might be wrong, but if you want to fake and scam people, you're not, and most of these people that do these scams, they're not going to spend a ton of money to buy fake websites just so they can leave a review, right?
Yeah.
So that's why when you have a lot of good reviews, you know that you've got something decent
Yeah,
to work on.
definitely,
So I
definitely.
definitely would focus on that. And wow, okay, we are now 19 minutes away. Just a quick reset of the room, then, Margaret, for those tuning in via the live streams. Please remember, there's no point, because I can see my phone's pinging. There's no point in texting or commenting or whatever you're doing, because we are unable to monitor your questions live on the live stream. So if you do want to ask us any questions in terms of getting your people journey right, you'll need to join our audio only call here on Microsoft Teams. The best way to do that is to go to our website, startuptoscaleup.club. Look for today's session, which is Startup Talent Q&A 153, and then click join. It's a quick registration that gets you a link to your website, and through that link you can join us here on Microsoft Teams. We're here to help you with any questions you may have on talent, whether you want to know how and where to find the right people, how to keep them, how to interview them, perhaps how to test them, how to decide what to pay them, how to train them, and all that jazz. There literally are no wrong questions, and there's no need to be shy. It's a learning curve for us all. Um, The way it works is that you need to get onto the Microsoft Teams call. You type your question in the chat like Charlotte did earlier. We then give you the mic and you can fire away with your question. If, however, your questions are on other matters and not on talent, please save them for the other events we run. So Monday's talent, Tuesday's product and tech, Wednesday's growth, Thursday's fundraising, second Friday of the month, UK startup law, third Friday of the month, UK startup finances. That all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time, and they are all easily founded. Sorry, you can find them easily on our website, startup2scaleup.club. You can RSVP to any of them. And actually, when you're there, what you might also want to do is join our WhatsApp community. We've got some groups for founders, investors, and operators. And at the top and bottom of our website, you'll find those icons, basically the WhatsApp icon, where you can join us there. Now, without further ado, let's get to some more questions that were sent in to us. Again, another health one. So bear with me. I'm just going to copy and paste this from.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah.
The email. Where is it? Because this was actually sent via email from somebody who joined a previous session, not on talent. And when they got the confirmation, I'm assuming they went and replied via that. Okay, so I'll put this in the chat for you to read it, but I'll read it out loud for those who are tuning in via the live streams, Margaret. So I'm co-founder of a health and wellness startup in Telford at the pre-Series A stage, okay, whatever that means, where we offer virtual mental health coaching for university students. Oh, that's interesting. Given the sensitive nature of our work, it's vital to ensure that our coaches and support staff meet stringent background requirements. What affordable practices could we adopt to perform thorough background checks on mental health professionals, and how can we create a transparent policy that communicates this commitment to potential hires without deterring qualified applicants? Oh, that's an interesting one. Do you want to go first on this, Margaret?
Sure. Sure. So, 1 second. So, okay, well, I mean, yeah, I think, since you're in that health and wellness space and working with university students, good idea to, of course, get these background checks, because I guess that's essential, not just for compliance, but for building trust with your clients and, institutions. So I think there are some like low-cost background screening services. I think there's something called like CHECKR. And there is something called vetting.com. I think there's something, there will be something else, but basically they offer like basic criminal history, identity verification, and credential validation, specifically tailored for small businesses. And try to find some more of them. Like basically just Google like low-cost background screening services, or Google background screening services for SMBs or something like that. So some of these services, they do allow to pay you per check rather than monthly, which I guess is what you would prefer, because it will be more budget friendly for early stage startups. So I think also for mental health professionals, probably it's better to verify licenses, certifications, or professional references manually, right? Like you can just maybe contact the relevant regulatory bodies or past employers. That costs nothing but a little time. So if these services can't offer that for you, hopefully you can actually do it yourself. Just literally contact them and make sure that this person has this kind of certification, because yeah, I would definitely verify any kind of license or certifications, because there will be some people who will just lie. In fact, one of my friends was trying to hire a coach, and she just had some kind of feeling about her, and she checked whether she has this certification that this person was saying they had, and guess what? They did not. And she even contacted the organization herself just to find out that she did not have that certification. So that's something I would definitely try to definitely do it, even if you have to do it manually, just by contacting them. And in terms of communicating that to candidates, I think just you want to maybe position that as a part of your commitment to student safety, professional integrity, and maintaining a trusted environment, not a barrier. So I think I would even include like a simple statement in your job description, and maybe also actually, maybe not the job description, but definitely, well, maybe both a job description and offer letter, something like, as part of our commitment to safeguarding our student community, all coaching and support staff undergo standard background and credential check. We approach this process with full transparency and respect for every applicant, and when you frame it that way, that just shows candidates that you value professionalism, you care about the community that you serve, and that can also attract, some serious qualified professionals, rather than deterring them. So, and also having a consistent published process protects you legally as you grow. And again, you can probably Google some examples, of like the background screening policy, but you just kind of want to mention the purpose, like why you're doing that, the scope, and I guess that will be for all candidates who, for employment, the contractor roles, will have direct interaction with students or access to sensitive information. And at the very least, you would want them to undergo identity check, criminal history check, professional kind of license, or certification verification, and employment reference verification, minimum of 2 references. But again, that's something you can very easily do yourself. The last one, the employment reference verification. So hope that helps.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Can you hear me okay, Margaret? Because I think I'm having some trouble with perfect.
Yeah.
So I've live with me now, but it was called Dog Something. That was a background checking company.
It's actually it's a bit like if you were behind the wall, Anton.
Hello?
Say something now.
Can you hear me now?
It's not great.
Okay, I'll need to shout a bit more. How is that?
Now it's better. Now it's better. Okay. Yeah.
So I'll shout a bit louder. So no, what I was saying is there used to be a company called Dog Something. Oh my God, I can't remember the full name. I've used that company a few times, and the reason I used that company a few times is that they used to have a lot of clients in the public sector, and the public sector, and especially various government departments, they need to be very thorough searches. So what I would do in this case, I would look at 2 types of people. Number one, recruitment agencies that use temporary medical staff, because they need to do checks all the time, and they need to ensure that the right people are always clear, so that they can deploy them at kind of sub-level, whatever requirements there is. And 2, I would even go directly to some NHS or various other healthcare companies. I know for a fact that Deal, for example, does that, and they're quite good at doing overseas and here in the UK. But if you want to find some cheap ones, personally, I would go to recruitment agencies that do temporary medical staff. They can be a good start, and be honest with them. Tell them that at this moment in time, you are not looking to use an agency, but if and when that comes, you'd be more than open to have a chat with these guys. So I would definitely focus on that. In terms of doing the checks yourself, to be honest with you, my experience, when you are small, and I've been small a billion times, sometimes it's not worth it to have to go through all of that yourself, especially if you haven't navigated that in the past. So sometimes it's worth paying somebody that does all the checks, and that includes, Margaret rightly mentions, often some people, not always, but there may be times when people will actually provide fake certificates or fake certifications and claim they have this or that. And the thing is, it's easy, these agencies that you pay do those checks, because more often than not, various certifications, especially those dealing with health and or mental health, are easily accessible to these agencies online, sometimes without even having to call anybody. So personally, I would do that, but just in case, if you have doubts, yeah, why not? Do double check yourself. But if you can, I would definitely just leave this to agencies that do this, on a daily basis. Right, we now have 8 minutes to go. I think we can go to one more question if that's okay, Margaret. Where is it? All right, this is an interesting one. We get this, or forms of it. Sort of.
Can you post it? Yeah.
Yeah, I am going to do that. Absolutely. Bear with me. Sorry, I was just normally what I try and do. I copy and paste them on my notes, right? Because I get them from LinkedIn, YouTube, email, even Instagram. So I try and put them all in the notes and then go through them in the order that I received them. Okay, so I've just posted that in the chat, Margaret. This is a marketplace for second-hand luxury goods. They're based in London. They're at Series A, just raised, she said, Series A. Background is that she's a former fashion buyer, and the trouble she's having at the moment is finding senior leadership people. And the question she has is, how do I attract a COO with marketplace experience when most experienced candidates are looking for bigger, more stable companies? And I'm assuming the salaries as well there. But what would you do in her position, Margaret?
Ideally, I would love to ask some more questions. Like Series A, so I presume this company already has some employees, right? Like this isn't the first, this isn't like the first employee, right? I think they must already.
Indeed, and Series A more often than not means that she's already raised money.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah,
so
yeah,
exactly. She's not broke. Yeah. She's got some money. But again, Series A could be anything in terms of.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just curious, like where her Series A is.
More often than not, Series A also means that she's got some proof of concept as well. So yeah, it's not literally from scratch.
Yeah, well, I mean, there will always be some candidates who want something more stable, right? That's you're not going to change that. There will always be people who want more stable companies, but at the same time, if you position that as an opportunity, high impact, entrepreneurial, career defining opportunity, I'm sure you can find someone, because most experienced people, they don't just want stability, they want meaning, they want ownership, the ability to actually build something substantial. So when you reach out to potential, is it COOs, right? Yeah, okay. So I think, when you reach out to potential COOs, like, I think it's emphasized this is not a maintenance role, because this is actually like, building, like, it's an opportunity to shape the operational engine of a high potential brand in a luxury market that's evolving fast. So you would want to highlight the scale of opportunity, so like the second-hand luxury is booming globally. So the strategic influence they will have. I presume they'll be setting operational frameworks and scaling teams and leading international growth, and also the upside, equity, visibility with the board and investors, and potential C-level legacy. Yeah, of course, you have to be like honest about who you are, like obviously the Series A risks and resource limitations, but frame it for the right audience, candidates who are energized by building, not preserving, so basically, like, look for people who've done it once, like maybe they helped the company go from Series A to growth stage, and they are excited about doing it again with more ownership and a strategic voice. So also, and also like leverage your mission and brand, like senior talent often chooses startups because they believe in the product and in the market's future. So build excitement around where luxury e-commerce, like re-commerce, is headed, right? And how they can be part of shaping that future. But I actually have a role like that. Well, it's a different situation, but I'm looking for this growth marketing manager, and actually this also will be like the first person. And again, I emphasizing that this is like we're looking for like the 0 to 1 mindset. This is not maintaining and iterating opportunity. It's actually the building opportunity. They get to build it their way. And actually, I had quite a lot of interest, just by actually emphasizing that. You get candidates who will be excited by that. So So, you could just, like, even when you're messaging candidates on LinkedIn, I'm hoping you're approaching them directly, you could just literally, like, introduce yourself, your name, your co-founder, mention the company name, mention it's a fast-growing London-based marketplace, redefining how second-hand luxury goods are bought and sold, and mention something exciting. So something like, we are at an exciting inflection point. Having recently closed our Series A, we are now looking for a seasoned operator to help scale our platform into a true category leader. Given your, and then mention, something like why you've contacted them, their marketplace experience, operational leadership background, impressive track record in scaling brands. I believe you could be instrumental in this next phase of growth. So mention something mention something specific from their profile, so they just don't think you're sending that message to everyone, right? Like, always personalize it. And then you can say, like, this isn't just a typical COO role, it's a rare opportunity to take full ownership of operations, supply chain strategy, customer success, and scaling initiatives while working closely with the founding team and investors. You will have meaningful equity stake, a direct line to shaping company strategy, and the ability to leave a lasting mark in the booming circular luxury economy. And then just say, like, I'd love to set up a short call to share more about our vision, opportunity, and why this could be a career-defining next step. Let me know if you'll be open to a conversation. You will 100% get responses from that message. Trust me, like, you will definitely get responses. Just don't message people who want to work for large, huge organizations, because they will not join a Series A. I will look for people who have some bigger company experience, but also who have some startup experience.
That is amazing. Thank you very much, Margaret. And I'll try not to risk repeating some of the brilliant stuff you've mentioned.
To let you know, I have another call in a minute, so I will need to drop off soon.
That's okay. Don't worry. I'll let you go. I'll just quickly give my 2 pence on this, and then I'll wrap it up. So don't worry, Margaret. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Quick 2 pence on this. It's quite simple. 3 things I would focus on. Number 1, I would focus on people who want the ability to make a name for themselves. Number 2, I would focus on people who want to make a ton of cash if this does well and then eventually exits, i.e. the equity side. Number 3, I would focus on people that have some kind of passion and/or experience in a similar field. And as Margaret said, you don't want to go for only sort of big corporate people, but you want to look for people that have been in a similar situation before. These would be my main advice on this. And now it is 1 p.m., which means it's time to wrap this up. It's been an interesting one, although we didn't have as questions as we'd like. This was Startup Talent Q&A, our 153rd session. We've been doing these for 4 years now. We currently run 6 regular events. Monday's Talent, as you saw today, or heard rather, shall I say. Tuesday's Product and Tech. Wednesday's Growth. Thursday's Fundraising. Second Friday of the month, it's UK Startup Law. And third Friday of the month, it's UK Startup Finances. You can tune in and RSVP to any of them via our site, startuptoscaleup.club. And actually, when you go there, you might want to join our community on WhatsApp. It's groups of founders, investors, and operators. And there's a WhatsApp icon both at the top and bottom of our website. Otherwise, my parting words is that, you see, journey can be both exciting but also quite challenging. So try to have some fun in the meantime, and be kind to yourself and everyone else for that matter. And if you found value on this, please feel free to share it on your social media. Otherwise, do join us tomorrow. We've got some amazing people to help you on building your early stage product and tech. That is at 12 p.m. UK time, and it's our Startup Product and Tech Q&A. Thanks again, and God bless you all. Bye-bye for now.